The Dairy Herd Improvement Association, commonly referred to as DHIA, provides detailed production records for producers looking to improve various aspects of their operation efficiency. DHIA records allow a unique opportunity to evaluate milk production in conjunction with overall herd performance. From DHIA, one of the primary reports is the DHI 202 Summary Report, where there are a variety of production metrics and herd activities that can be assessed and evaluated. The 202 can provide valuable information regarding the reproductive status of the herd. In this video, we will go over some of these reproductive metrics. Reproduction efficiency is a key component of profitability on dairy farms. Properly managed reproduction can increase milk production by maximizing genetic gain and length of lactation. It contributes to the number of cows on a dairy by ensuring adequate replacements and allowing for a proactive culling strategy. The goal of a reproductive program is to have as many cows as possible cycling and bred within the first 100 days of lactation. Delayed breeding lengthens the lactation and reduces revenue for the dairy. First, let's look at the section entitled Reproductive Summary of Current Breeding Herd and focus on the Voluntary Waiting Period, or VWP, and days to first service. The voluntary waiting period is the time a farmer chooses to wait to begin breeding cows after they calve. The voluntary waiting period is the goal, and days to first service is an average actually happening on the farm. A recommended voluntary waiting period is usually 60 days after calving. This farm has their voluntary waiting period set at 67 days. Increasing the voluntary waiting period has been shown to increase conception rate, as this allows the uterine involution to be completed after calving. The downside of this is delaying the start of the next lactation, potentially losing money in milk production. The section titled Cows with No Service Dates or Diagnosed Open includes the cows that are open after the voluntary waiting period up to 100 days of milk and open over 100 days of milk. Cows that are still open after 100 days of milk may be candidates for culling. For this farm, there are 2 candidates. Next, let's look at the section titled Reproductive Summary of the Total Herd. First, let's look at the current actual calving interval. This is the average amount of time it takes animals to calve after the end of their last lactation. Ideally, a calving interval should be kept as close to 12 to 13 months as possible to ensure that there is never a decline of lactating animals in the herd. This farm is very close to that at a calving interval of 12.3 months. Now, let's look at the yearly reproductive summary. Focusing on the averages row towards the bottom of the chart, look at percent heat observed. This farm detected an average of 76% of heats, which is above the benchmark of 65%. If heat detection is below this benchmark, conception and pregnancy rates can be significantly impacted. Next, let's compare the conception rate and pregnancy rate. The conception rate is the percent of breedings that result in a pregnancy. Pregnancy rate is the percentage of cows that are bred and give birth. A benchmark for conception rate is greater than 40% for the first service and greater than 35% overall. A benchmark for pregnancy rate is greater than 24%. This farm's average conception rate is 50% and average pregnancy rate is 30%. To find the conception rate for first service, look under Services for past 12 months. This farm is well above the benchmark at 58%. The birth summary section can help you determine if you have dystocia problems by looking at number of calves born dead and the calving scores. You can calculate calf mortality rate to examine this. Add the total number of calves together and then divide the number of calves born dead by this number and multiply by 100. The benchmark for calf mortality is less than 5% born dead. This farm had 114 males alive, 5 dead, and 86 females alive, 1 dead, for a total of 206 calves born last year. Of these, a total of 6 were born dead, so 6 divided by 206 gives you 2.9%, putting this farm below the benchmark. The last section to look at when it comes to reproduction is cows to be milking, dry, and calving each month. It is important to try to keep these numbers as steady as possible throughout the year for constant milk production. It is ideal to have 83 to 90% of your herd in milk at a time. This farmer may run into some issues in September when only 75.6% of their herd is in milk. To find this number, first subtract dry cows from total cows. 205 total cows minus 50 dry cows equals 155 cows in milk. Next, divide cows in milk by total cows and multiply by 100. 155 divided by 205 times 100 equals 75.6% of the herd in milk. Keeping reproduction benchmarks in mind can help increase milk production and keep the lactating herd consistent year-round.